Hello, and a massive welcome back to another deep dive. I am so glad you are here with us today.
Yeah, welcome.
Whether you are currently stuck in traffic, maybe on the treadmill at the gym, or just, folding laundry at home, we are about to make your next hour incredibly productive.
Absolutely.
Today, we are stripping everything back. We are getting back to basics, but in a way that I think is going to be really surprising for you.
Oh, it definitely will be.
We are talking about the stuff you do every single day, the really mundane stuff, the brushing of teeth, the making of coffee, the catching of buses.
It sounds super simple on the surface, doesn't it? But when you are learning a language or even just trying to refine your communication skills, these simple things, they're actually the foundation of everything.
Exactly. We are looking at a topic that is universal. It doesn't matter who you are or where you live, you have a daily routine.
Right, everyone does.
And today, we are going to use a specific set of source materials. It's a transcript from a great program called English Lite Hub.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
And we're going to use it to really unpack how we talk about our days. The source features two hosts, Alex and Sarah, and they basically walk us through their 24-hour cycle.
Which is such a clever way to teach.
It is, but we aren't just going to repeat what they say. We are going to tear it apart, analyze the grammar a bit, look at the hidden meanings, and help you, the listener, master the art of talking about your day.
And I think it is important to state right up front why this matters so much. A lot of learners want to jump straight to debating politics or, discussing big philosophy.
Oh, totally. They want the complex stuff.
Right. But think about it. Most casual conversation is just talking about your life, your schedule, and your habits. If you can master the basic verbs we are going to discuss today, you are essentially building a safety net for all your social interactions.
That is such a cool way to look at it. It's almost like a shortcut. If you nail these basics, you can navigate almost any introduction chat.
Exactly. It's the ultimate icebreaker.
Now, looking at our source material, English Lite Hub, what really stands out to me is how approachable Alex and Sarah are. They aren't lecturing from a podium or anything.
No, not at all. Their whole mission is just helping listeners practice basic English verbs in a natural way. They emphasize right from the start that English can be practiced anywhere.
Anywhere at all.
Yeah, they welcome listeners who are on the bus, in the park, or in the kitchen. And I love that philosophy because it aligns with how our brains actually learn best. Contextual learning.
Meaning learning the word for spoon while you are actually holding a spoon.
Exactly. That is infinitely more powerful than staring at a flashcard in a dark room.
So let's get right into the meat of it. The core concept here is one single word. Routine.
Routine. R-O-D-T-I-N-E.
R-O-T-I-N-E.
Got it. In the source, they define it really simply. It's something you do every single day.
Which is a solid definition. But let's go a bit deeper for our listener. Why is a routine such a powerful tool for a language learner?
Well, think about the cognitive load. When you are learning a new language, your brain is working overtime. You are translating. You are thinking about pronunciation.
You're worrying about grammar rules.
Yes, all of it.
Oh.
A routine provides a predictable structure. You know exactly what happens next in your day, so you can predict the vocabulary you need.
Yeah.
It turns the chaos of daily life into a script.
I like that, a script for your day.
Right. If you narrate your routine every single day, you are getting really high-frequency repetition. You aren't learning a word you'll use once a year. You are perfecting words you use every single morning.
High-frequency words. That is exactly why this is so great for beginners. Okay, so let's start where the day starts. Segment 1. The morning launch.
The alarm goes off.
The absolute worst sound in the world.
It really is.
Now, in the source material, Alex and Sarah make a distinction right away that I think trips up a lot of people. They talk about waking up versus getting up.
Oh, yeah. This is a big one.
To a native speaker, these are obviously two very different things. But if you are learning English, they might seem like exactly the same thing.
Right, because they happen at almost the same time. They have phrasal verbs. That means it's a verb combined with a smaller word like up. But they describe two completely different physical states.
How does Sarah explain it?
Sarah explains that wake up is simply the act of opening your eyes, consciousness returning to your brain.
You are horizontal. You are warm in bed. You are probably bargaining with the universe for just 5 more minutes of sleep.
Exactly. You are still in the bed. But get up or get out of bed, that implies a real physical action. It implies rising. You are physically leaving the mattress and standing up.
I feel like there is a whole separate routine between waking up and getting up that involves hitting the snooze button 6 times. Is there a verb for that?
We usually just say hitting snooze. But in the source, Alex and Sarah seem a bit more disciplined than that. They just get right out of bed.
Good for them. Let's compare their schedules, actually. Alex says he wakes up at 6:30 a.m.,
And Sarah points out that that is early.
which is kind of funny because 6.30 feels pretty standard for a working professional, doesn't it?
It really depends on the person and the culture. In some places, 6.3 is sleeping in. In others, 6:30 is the middle of the night.
Fair point.
But for an English learner, the context here is just knowing how to talk about the time, 6:30. It's important to practice saying those numbers.
Right. And Sarah, she is up at 7 a.m. So they're both getting a pretty decent start to the day. Now, there's one thing I noticed in the audio of the source, and I think this is a really smart teaching technique.
The pause.
Yes, the pause. Alex uses this repetition technique. He says the phrase wake up, and then he just goes completely silent for about 3 seconds.
That is intentional. It is called wait time.
Wait time. What does that do?
Well, if you just listen passively to a podcast or a video, your brain doesn't work very hard. By pausing, Alex is inviting the listener to vocalize, to actually say the words wake up out loud.
So it forces you to practice.
Exactly. It moves you from being a passive consumer to an active participant.
So if you are listening to us right now, don't just nod along. Say it out loud. Wake up. Get up. Feel the physical difference in your mouth.
It really helps.
Okay, so they're out of bed, feet are on the cold floor. Where does the source take us next?
Straight to the bathroom. This is the hygiene sequence. And linguistically, this is a total gold mine for what we call collocations.
Collocations. That is a big grammar word. Break that down for us, keeping it simple.
Sure. A collocation is just a fancy way of saying words that are best friends. They naturally stick together in a language.
Words that are best friends. I love that.
Yeah. If you swap one out, even if the dictionary meaning is basically the same, it just sounds wrong to a native speaker.
Okay, give me an example from their bathroom routine.
Take a shower. Alex says he takes a shower. Now, logically, why do we use the verb take? We don't grab the shower and put it in our pocket. We don't steal the water.
Right. That makes no sense when you really think about it.
In other languages, you might make a shower or do a shower. But in English, the collocation, the best friend word, is take. You take a shower.
That is so true. If someone came up to me and said, I am going to do a shower, I would understand what they meant, but I would immediately know they aren't a native speaker. It just sounds a little clunky.
Precisely. And that's what language mastery looks like, knowing which verbs stick to which nouns naturally. Another one they mention in the source is brush my teeth.
Now, this brings up another really interesting point. Sarah explicitly says brush my teeth. Why do we use the possessive my? Can't I just say I am brushing teeth?
You could, but again, it sounds very odd. In many other languages, you often use the word the. You would say I brush the teeth or I wash the face because obviously they are your own body parts. Whose would they be?
Right, unless I'm running some weird dentistry business out of my bathroom.
Exactly. But English is a very possessive language. We really like to claim our body parts. I brush my teeth, I wash my face, I brush my hair.
It's always my.
Always. If you say I am brushing the teeth, it sounds like you are cleaning a set of fake teeth sitting on the counter.
That is a very vivid image. Okay, so rule number 1 for the bathroom routine. Claim your body parts. Use the word my.
Good rule.
So let's review the bathroom actions they list. We have brush my teeth, take a shower, not do a shower, wash my face, and brush my hair. It is a very clear sequence.
And notice the physical response potential here for the learner. Even if you are just listening right now, you can mime the action. Pretend to hold a toothbrush.
Oh, like acting it out.
Yeah. That physical movement helps cement the English vocabulary in your memory.
Okay, we are clean, we are minty fresh. We leave the bathroom and move to the kitchen. It is breakfast time. What's on the menu for our hosts?
Well, before we actually eat, we have to prepare the food. The key vocabulary phrase here is make breakfast.
Make breakfast. Again, a very specific verb choice. We make breakfast. We don't usually say construct breakfast or build breakfast, even though that's kind of what we are doing with a sandwich.
And sometimes we say cook breakfast, but make is a much broader, safer word. You can make a bowl of cereal without cooking anything at all.
Because cook implies using the stove or heat.
Right, exactly. Cook implies heat. Make it just implies preparation.
That is a great distinction. If I just pour cold milk over some cereal, I made breakfast. I definitely didn't cook it. Now, Alex and Sarah have very different vibes when it comes to their morning meal.
They really do. Alex is very simple, very utilitarian. He has toast and a cup of black coffee. And he emphasizes that he does this every single morning.
A creature of habit. I respect it. It cuts down on decision-making. You don't have to stand in front of the fridge wondering what you want to eat. You just put the bread in the toaster.
And the coffee. He mentions drinking coffee is a key part of his routine. This is a huge cultural touch point, too. In many English-speaking cultures, the morning coffee is almost a requirement before work can begin.
Oh, absolutely. Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee. It's a joke, but it's also very real for a lot of people. But Sarah breaks the mold here. She doesn't drink coffee.
No, she prefers tea. Green tea, specifically. And she eats oatmeal with fruit, usually a banana or some strawberries.
So she is having a hot breakfast, but it's arguably a bit healthier, or at least it requires a bit more effort than just dropping bread in a toaster.
Oatmeal is a really great vocabulary word for learners, too. It is such a common staple in English-speaking breakfast.
So we have toast and coffee for Alex, oatmeal and tea for Sarah, two very different ways to get energy for the day.
And once the energy is in, it is time to cover up. We have to get dressed.
Get dressed. Another get phrase. We had get up earlier, now get dressed.
Yes, the word get often implies a change of state. You go from being undressed, or in your pajamas, to being dressed. Sarah defines it really nicely for the listeners. She says it means putting clothes on, changing from pajamas into daytime clothes.
And they list the basics. Shirt, pants. But then Alex lists the sequence of actually leaving the house, and I think this is where we see a really important phrasal verb pop up.
What does he say?
He says, pick up bag, put on shoes.
Put on. This is the golden phrasal verb for clothing. In English, we don't usually say, I place my shirt on my body. We say, I put on my shirt, I put on my shoes, I put on my hat.
Phrasal verbs are always so tricky for learners because the little word, the preposition, changes the whole meaning. If I put out the cat, that's different. If I put off a meeting, that means I delayed it. But put on is purely for clothing and accessories.
Think of it as attaching something to your body. You put it on. And notice the order Alex gives. Bag, then shoes.
That is risky. If you pick up your heavy bag before you put your shoes on, you have to bend over while holding the bag just to tie your shoelaces. That's bad planning, Alex. Shoes first, then the bag.
Just a little practical advice there. But anyway, the sequence ends with two simple actions. Open door, leave the house.
Leave the house. And that brings us to the great divide, the transition from your private home to the public world. Segment 2, the commute.
The commute. Getting to work. This is where we see a massive difference between our two hosts, and it actually opens up a huge, sometimes confusing grammar rule regarding transportation.
Oh, the in versus on debate. This is one of the most common stumbling blocks for people learning English.
It really is. So let's look at it. Alex drives. He takes his car. Sarah, on the other hand, does not drive. She walks to the bus stop and takes the bus to the city center.
Now, walk us through the grammar here. If I am sitting inside a car, why do I say I am on a bus? I am physically inside both of them. I am not riding on the roof of the bus.
It is super confusing at first.
Yeah.
But there is a general rule of thumb that works almost all the time. It comes down to your ability to walk around.
The ability to walk, what do you mean?
Yes. If the vehicle is large enough that you can stand up and walk down an aisle while it's moving, you say you are on it. You are on a bus, you are on a train, you are on a plane, you are on a ship.
Okay. Wow. That actually makes total sense.
Right. But if the vehicle is small and you have to duck your head and slide into a seat and you are basically stuck in that seat, you are in it. You're in a car, you're in a taxi, you are in a helicopter.
That is brilliantly simple. I can walk around on a bus, so I am on the bus. I cannot walk around in my little car, so I am in the car.
Exactly. So Alex is in his car. And he mentions his drive takes about 20 minutes.
Which is a dream commute, honestly. 20 minutes is nothing. But he is alone. He is just driving. Sarah, however, is on the bus, and Alex points out a really nice benefit to public transport.
He mentions that on the bus, you can read a book or listen to a podcast. And Sarah agrees with him. This frames the bus ride not just as travel time, but as productive time.
Which totally ties back to our listener right now. If you are on the bus right now listening to this, you are winning. You are studying. If you are driving, please keep your eyes on the road, but you can still listen and learn.
Safety first.
Always. Okay, so they survive the commute. They arrive at the office.
And now the professional part of the day starts. And they have to turn things on. Literally.
Yes. Let's talk about the phrase turn on. Both Alex and Sarah work in an office. They sit at the desk, and their first action is to turn on the computer.
Turn on is the standard everyday phrasal verb for starting electronics. It goes way back to the old days when machines literally had physical knobs. You had to turn with your hand to activate the power.
And even though we just push buttons or tap glass screens now, we still say turn on.
We do.
We don't ever say open the computer.
Well, you can open a laptop, meaning you are physically lifting the screen up with your hands, but the software inside, the actual power, that is turned on. If you say, I open the light or I open the TV, people will look at you very strangely. You turn on the light, you turn on the TV.
Got it. Keep it to turn on for electronics. So the computer is humming, the screen is glowing. What is the very first task they do? The universal task that unites all office workers everywhere.
Checking emails.
Check my emails. Notice again, we see the word my emails.
Yes. Sarah explains this task as reading messages from the boss and coworkers, and the action that always follows reading them is answering them. It's a constant back and forth, but I really want to highlight the verb check here.
Why check? Why not read my emails?
Check implies a quick review. You're looking for new information. You don't usually study your emails like a textbook. You check them to see what is new or urgent. It implies a fast scanning process.
That makes a lot of sense. You check to see if there are any fires to put out. And Alex mentions a few other typical office duties too. He talks about writing reports and making phone calls.
Make a phone call. There is that word make again, just like making breakfast.
Yeah.
You create the call. You don't do a call.
Make a call. Perfect. And then they mention the activity that eats up most of the corporate day. Having meetings.
Have a meeting. That is the natural collocation. You can technically attend a meeting, but if you are just casually describing your daily schedule, you always say, I have meetings.
How does Sarah describe a meeting?
She describes it as sitting in a room with the team, talking about projects.
Which sounds very productive, but we all know that half of those meetings could have just been an email.
That is very true. But linguistically, notice the social aspect of the prepositions they use. You have meetings with people. You make calls to people. The little words guide the direction of the action.
Okay, so the morning work grind is done. The stomach starts growling. It is 12:00 p.m. noon. We are moving into segment 3.
Lunchtime. And the vocabulary phrase they teach here is have lunch.
Have lunch. We use the word have for meals a lot in English. Have breakfast, have lunch, have dinner. You can say eat lunch, but have lunch feels a bit more natural when talking about your routine, doesn't it?
It does. Eat lunch focuses strictly on the food going into your mouth. The chewing. Have lunch focuses on the whole event. It's the break from work. If I say, let's have lunch, that is an invitation to spend time together. If I say, let's eat lunch, it sounds like we only have 5 minutes to consume our food before going back to work.
Good distinction. Have lunch is an event. Now, the source brings up the classic office dilemma, to buy food or to bring food.
Sarah mentions she sometimes buys food. She says she enjoys going to a small cafe to get a sandwich, but she notes that she usually brings lunch from home because it is cheaper.
Which is very smart. And Alex is on the exact same page. He mentions bringing salads and this is a really great vocabulary word, leftovers.
Leftovers. It is a noun made from a phrase, food that is left over from the night before.
I feel like leftovers get a bad reputation sometimes, but some food is actually better the next day. Lasagna, soup, way better as leftovers.
I completely agree. And using leftovers implies efficiency. You cooked once, and you were eating twice.
So they have their lunch. They enjoy their leftovers. Then what happens?
Get back to work.
The saddest phrase in the English language, go back. It implies a return to the work state. The relaxing break is officially over.
Yes, and they outline their timeline here. They are finishing emails and attending more meetings until 5:00 p.m. This is the standard 9 to 5 work model they are using for the lesson.
And then finally comes what Sarah calls the absolute best part of the day.
Leave the office and go home.
No, wait, I want to pause here. Go home. Note the total lack of a preposition there. We say, go to work, we go to the doctor, we go to the store, but we just go home.
Yes, that is a fantastic observation. You never say go to home.
Why is that? I never really realized we do that.
Home is a very special state in English grammar. It functions almost like an adverb of place rather than just a building. You go home, you are at home, but you never, ever go to home.
That is the exact kind of detail I love finding in these deep dives. The word home is special. It doesn't need a preposition to help it. It just stands alone.
It really does.
So they leave the office, they go home, they walk through the front door. Now we are entering segment 4, the evening block.
This is the decompression phase of the routine. Sarah says she is usually feeling a little tired when she arrives.
Completely understandable after a long day of meetings and emails. And what does she want to do? She wants to relax.
Relax. She defines the word simply as to rest. And her physical ritual for relaxing is really interesting to look at. She sits on the sofa and she takes off her shoes.
Takes off. That is the exact opposite of the morning phrase we learned. put on.
Exactly. If put on means attaching clothing to your body, take off means removing it. And culturally, this is a very significant action. In a lot of households around the world, taking off your shoes at the door is mandatory for keeping the house clean.
Right.
But even in places where it isn't a strict rule, the physical act of removing your heavy work shoes is a psychological signal to your brain. It tells you that the workday is officially done.
It is like shedding your armor. You take off the tie, take off the heels, take off the shoes. You are just you again. You can finally breathe. And then what do? The source mentions a few options.
Watch TV or read a book.
Very passive activities. Low energy, which is what you need. But you can't just sit on the sofa forever. You have to fuel up your body again. It's time to cook dinner.
Now, notice the verb shift here. Earlier in the morning, we talked about making breakfast. Here, they specifically use the phrase cook dinner.
Why the change?
Well, Sarah says she loves cooking. She mentions making chicken and rice or boiling pasta with tomatoes. Cook implies using heat, effort, and time. It is a much more substantial process than just popping morning toast in a toaster.
That makes sense. But Alex represents the completely other side of the evening coin.
He is the order food side.
Order food. Or, as we often say in casual conversation, order in or get takeout.
He defines it for the learners as having a restaurant bring food directly to the house. Delivery. It is super convenient, but he admits he is trying to learn to cook more.
It's the eternal adult struggle. Saving money and eating healthy versus convenience and just being too tired to cook.
It really is.
But whether you cook the pasta yourself or order the pizza to your door, you are left with the exact same result at the end of the meal.
The mess in the kitchen.
Wow.
And the necessary vocabulary phrase. Wash the dishes.
The chore that absolutely nobody likes doing, Alex actually calls it a necessary evil.
And look at the verb. We wash the dishes. We don't usually say clean the dishes, although people would understand you. But wash specifically implies using water and soap. It is the specific physical action.
And it is always a plural, the dishes. Even if you only used one single plate and one fork, we usually say, I am washing the dishes. It refers to the collective pile of dirty things in the sink.
The pile of shame, yes, exactly. But once that chore is done, the evening is truly theirs. And that brings us to segment 5, nighttime. This shows us how they prepare for the end of the day.
Alex gets active again here. He mentions he goes for a walk.
Go for a walk. This is another really great collocation to memorize. You can just say, I walk, but going for a walk implies a leisurely, relaxed stroll. Usually it's for pleasure or just clearing your head. It is not for transportation.
He isn't walking to the store. He's just walking.
Right. He walks around his neighborhood for 30 minutes to clear his mind.
That sounds lovely. A really nice way to separate the busy day from the quiet night. Sarah, on the other hand, gets social. She talks to family.
She calls them on the phone. This mirrors the phrase make a phone call from her work routine, but talks to family feels much more intimate. It's about personal connection, not just giving information to a coworker. Or she listens to music.
And then biology finally kicks in. The clock hits around 10:00 p.m., and they start to feel sleepy.
Sleepy. That is an adjective. It describes the feeling. Now, tired is general fatigue. You can be tired from running a marathon at noon, but sleepy specifically means your eyes are getting heavy and your brain is ready for bed.
So the reverse of the morning routine begins. They go back to the bathroom. We wash the face again. We brush the teeth again.
And the source material really emphasizes this point. Twice a day is important. So you get some hygiene vocabulary and some free health advice.
I love it. Brush twice a day, folks. And then the environment changes. We change into pajamas and we turn off the lights.
Turn off. The exact opposite of the morning phrase, turn on. The day is literally powering down.
And finally, we get the very last movement verb of the day, get into bed.
Notice the preposition here, into. When we woke up this morning, we got out of bed. Now we get into bed.
Why is into? Why not on?
Because you are going under the blankets. You are entering a contained space. You don't get on the bed unless you are just sitting on top of the covers fully dressed. You get into it to sleep.
That is such a cozy way to think about it. Into implies you were being hugged or wrapped up by the bed.
Precisely. And then sleep. Sarah says she is usually asleep by 10:30 p.m. She says she sometimes reads a little bit, but usually falls asleep very quickly.
And Alex.
Alex is a bit of a night owl. He stays up later, around 11:00 or 11:30 p.m.
He finishes his day by doing 2 final actions, turn off phone, turn off lamp, and he drifts off. Yeah. And that is the full cycle, from 6:30 a.m. to 11:30 p.m.
It creates a perfect narrative arc. Every single day is just a little story with a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Now, the English Lite Hub source material does something really cool at the very end of their audio. They do this rapid-fire review to consolidate all the verbs. They strip away all the extra chatter and explanations and just list the actions in order.
It is a great way to cement the learning.
I want to try this with you right now, but let's make it a game for the listener. I will give you the context of the situation, and you give me the exact verb phrase from the lesson. Ready?
I am ready. Test me.
Okay, listener. You try to guess the phrase before the expert says it. Here we go. Number 1, your alarm just rang, your eyes open.
Wake up.
Number 2, you throw off the covers and stand up on the floor.
Get out of bed.
Number 3, you are in the bathroom, holding a plastic stick with bristles, putting it in your mouth.
Brush my teeth. And remember, we use my.
My teeth.
Good reminder. Number 4, you're in the kitchen. You put bread in the toaster.
Make breakfast.
Number 5, you are no longer wearing your pajamas.
Get dressed.
Number 6, you open the front door and walk outside.
Leave the house.
Number 7, you travel to your place of employment.
Go to work.
Number 8, you sit at your desk and look at your computer inbox.
Check my emails.
Number 9, it is noon. You are hungry for your midday meal.
Have lunch. Number 10, it is 5:00 p.m. Freedom, you leave the office.
Go home. And remember, no preposition, just go home.
Number 11, you are on the sofa, your shoes are off.
Relax.
Number 12, you are standing at the stove with a pot of hot pasta.
Cook dinner.
Number 13, the pasta is gone, but the plate is dirty in the sink.
Wash the dishes.
And finally, number 14, the lights are out, you are under the covers.
Go to sleep.
Boom. That is the entire day in 14 steps. Hearing it back to back like that, it really emphasizes the sequence. It is so logical.
It is very logical.
Yeah.
And the advice that Alex and Sarah give at the very end of the source is really touching and practical for learners.
What do they say?
Well, Sarah reiterates that learning takes repetition. You have to do this over and over again. Your brain needs time. But Alex adds something beautiful. He says, be kind to yourself.
I think that is my favorite part of the whole source material. Be kind to yourself. Language learning is incredibly frustrating. You will forget the word for spoon. You will accidentally say, I am going to home, instead of I am going home. It happens to everyone.
It really does. It is part of the process. And Alex suggests practicing for just 5 minutes a day. That makes it feel manageable. You don't need to study for 3 hours, just 5 minutes.
That is very doable.
But he also gives a practical tip that I think is the golden key to fluency. He says to look at your own day and say the English words in your head as you are physically doing the actions.
Oh, like narrating your own life.
Exactly. When you are actually pouring your coffee in the kitchen, think to yourself, I make breakfast. When you are walking down the street to the bus stop, think, I am going to work. Connect the physical reality of your life to the English vocabulary.
That bridges the gap between the textbook and the real world. Suddenly, English isn't just a subject you study at a desk, it's something you actually live.
And that is exactly how you become fluent, by making it part of your daily routine.
Well, we have unpacked the routine today. We have debated prepositions like in and on. We have cleaned our imaginary teeth. I feel like we have lived a whole day in the last hour.
It certainly feels that way.
Yeah.
And I really hope for our listener, these boring daily tasks now feel like exciting opportunities. Every single time you brush your teeth tomorrow morning, you have a chance to practice your English.
That is the goal. Now, the source material ends by encouraging their listeners to subscribe and share their show, which we definitely echo here. It really helps the deep dive grow. But they also ask a direct question to their audience that I want to pass on to you.
It is a great question to practice with.
They ask, what time do you wake up?
It is a simple question, but it requires you to use the vocabulary and the numbers we talked about today. So think about it. Say it out loud right now, wherever you are. I wake up at.
I wake up at way too late, usually. But I am working on it. I am trying to be more like Alex at 6:30.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep practicing those collocations, keep checking those emails, and most importantly,
Be kind to yourself.
keep learning, keep smiling. We will catch you on the next one. Bye.